welcome to the video today. It's 9:39 a.m. on the 28th of August 2020. It's Friday. Market's been open for about 9 minutes here. We've had some pretty interesting volatility into the open. Before I get into any of this, of course, this is not financial advice, not your financial advisor. You are responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research, and I'm just giving my opinion on the market. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the chart and see what we've got in front of us. Today looks a lot different than what we have seen in the past. Okay, I want to focus on this move right here, which is correcting itself today. So first off, we were looking at this. We were looking at this as a 1, 2, and then we did extend up quite a bit, right? So if we pull this guy down here down to the 2, we remember, I removed the 175 from here, but we remember this hit the 175 perfectly. This hit the 175. This was a good touch for a pullback, and we did pull back, right? We pulled back pretty good, but then we continued moving up. So I actually believe that this is wave 3 here, and then we come down for the 4, and then I believe that this could possibly be the 5. You know, it's really hard to get this subdivision here because of what happened yesterday at the open. This was highly suspect, right? This really did look like the 3. It could be that we had, you know, an expanded flat here for the 4. It'd be very, I just don't like the way that it looks though. But one way or another, I think this right here was the 4. So if we take this, again, we're measuring the length of the 1, and instead of projecting it from the bottom of the 2, I want to take this and project it from the bottom of our projected 4, and we basically hit the 1618. Let me throw the 175 on there just so that we've got it. Okay, so that's 1.75. Let's just take a look at this and see where that's at. So that was at 35.10, and we almost hit that. We almost hit it, didn't quite get there. So yeah, whether this is the 3 or this is the 3, I still think that this is a highly technical pivot right here. I have marked it as such. So again, I'm going to remove this for right now. Okay. We were talking about 3,500, 35.10. We were talking about that yesterday, right? So we were talking about these, you know, these zones up here, which we did touch, and we have some pullback on this. But one way or another, we're continuing to build as this goes by. I'm going to remove this guy, and I'm also going to remove this fib pull here, just to keep things clean. I'm going to get rid of this channel. Don't think it's important anymore. Just try and keep the chart clean. I know I'm probably preaching to the choir, but I need to practice what I preach, I guess is what I'm actually trying to say here. But one way or another, I think that that we're going to continue to grind our way up, right? This is a nice move to the upside. We're trying to put in our 5, and I don't think that we've done it yet, right? So yeah, I think that we've completed one move and we're correcting it, but I still think that we've got higher to go. I still do think that we have higher to go to put in this 5, which puts in this 5, which puts in maybe this 5, which would put in the 3. This 3 is what we're after. This is going to be the completion, and that's going to be sitting at about 35.55. Okay, 35.55, maybe it's 35.60, somewhere in this red box. I think we're going to continue to gravitate our way towards. I think it's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen this week. Okay, I don't think it is, because this is Friday. I don't think it's going to happen, you know, really anytime in the next couple trading days. I think it's possible that it does happen by next Friday, but I tend to have a little bit of a bearish bias going into next week. So we're going to have to wait and see. Maybe we do get this in. Maybe we get this in early and we start to pivot down. But again, these are things that we are continuing to talk about and continuing to monitor. So let me go to an hour time frame here. I mean, obviously you can see we've got a lot going on here, and it's real easy to get caught in the weeds here on these you know, on these lower time frames. So I try not to do that. Try not to get too caught up in the weeds, because we have some major things happening on the markets right now. We're still also tracking whether or not this is an A, B, C that we're putting in, or if it is a 1, 2, 3 that we're putting in. That is, that's something that we are, continuing to keep an eye on. Once we do finally get a pullback, we'll get a little bit more clarity on what's happening. We just haven't had any significant pullbacks since this guy right here. We had, a decent pullback back here. Let me see if I can pull this. Was almost a 10%, about 9.5% pullback. I mean, we haven't had anything like that. This was the most significant pullback in recent time, and that only went down 3%. Then the other one that we had, which had people freaking out, was when we were testing our all-time high, and we literally only went back like 1.5%. Okay, so we haven't had any significant pullbacks. It's going to happen, right? We're going to get a pullback, but it's just going to take some time to it's going to take some time to get there. But ultimately, I do think that we're going to continue to grind up here. I do think that we will retest this level at 3,400. I think we're going to retest it. But that doesn't mean that we can't come up here and hit 35.50 first, right? We were talking about 35, we hit 35. And until we start to break through some of these pullbacks, which should be support, and you can see I've got them outlined, one after another, after another, after another. I need to put one more on here, which is why I'm kind of zooming in. I think that another significant pullback to keep an eye on, whoops, let me get this, duplicate it, and let's go ahead and tag it right here, right there. That's going to be a significant pullback. And then we've got one more. These are levels which should be supportive if we do happen to make a pullback. Again, we were also talking yesterday about some of our moving averages, the 21 exponential on the hourly and the 55 exponential on the hourly. We were finding support there, and we still have 13 and almost 14 minutes left on this candle, continuing to try and find support up here. And right now that 21 exponential is sitting at 34.92. And the 55 exponential is sitting at 34.77. So these are levels that should be supportive, okay? These moving averages are going to be the first signs of weakness. Now the 21 exponential, I mean, that's going to be a sign that things could be weakening, but the 55, that's really where the gravy is, right? So if you're looking for gravy sauce, look for a break of the 55 and a continued break of that. If we get a retest, right, and it doesn't break through, that would be a good place to attempt a short. So let's just take, for instance, back here. All right, so a good example, we broke down below the 55, and yes, we retested it, but we pushed through. So that would not have worked out. And then down here, we found support at the 55. We broke through. We did a retest, and it broke through on that candle, right? So these would not have been great places to short. Would have been okay to attempt, but you got to be able to get out, because if you didn't, look where we are now. We're way up here, right? We haven't broken down through any of these support zones. Even when we were back here, if we had this right here, right, we were taking a look right here. We said, okay, well, here's a support zone, pretty important, decent pullback there. That should be support. And when we broke down below the 55, we didn't even get anywhere close to the support, and we still haven't. So this is support. We broke through. We broke the 55. We didn't test this low. So again, we created a higher low. We did a retest and it broke through. Okay, so that's why these support zones are very important for us. These support zones should continue to be important as we find pullbacks. Once we start to break these, then we can talk about shorting, right? The trend is still up. Our moving averages are still in a bullish positioning. So got no reason to try and short the market yet, unless you're going to do a scalp. Okay, there's a big difference between swings and scalps, right? And then of course there's also investing, right? If you're an investor, you just put money in it and you wait a few years and you make money, right? But what we're trying to do swing trades. If you want to do scalps, that's completely up to you. I'm not going to really give any advice on here on scalping, but one way or another, I do think that we're going to continue to just grind up. Unless we start taking out the 55 and we take out a pivot. This pivot is the important one. It's at 34, 64, 75. If we break the 55 exponential, which we would have to break that first before we break some of these support zones, because they are below those moving averages. Until that happens, I'm going to continue to be bullish. I'm going to continue to be bullish, and I'm going to continue to have my eyes on the target up here at 35.50. All right, 35.50 is where I'm eyeing. I'm keeping my eye on 35.50, and I'm going to continue to be bullish until we break down some of these support zones. What I can say is this slope is steeper than this slope. Okay, so actually, what I'd like to do, I'd like to hide this guy, but I'm not a real big fan of hiding things because I tend to forget that they are there. But if we take a look at this, we've got a slope right here. So I'm just going to kind of take it from this guy to this guy, right? And we broke up above that slope. And this slope has been here, it's been here for a while, okay? So we've got this slope, and even if you were to take it from this guy right here and pull it down to here, right? You can see that we've got a good slope with this touch, this touch, this touch. We kind of broke through, and obviously we have broken up above that. But now we're finding ourselves with an even steeper slope. It's not sustainable. It starts right here, and again, it just kind of works its way up. We've got an even steeper slope. This is, setting us up for a more significant pullback. It's going to happen, and it probably will happen at 35.50. I'm not going to be interested in trying to do any scalp short until we get up there. If we don't get up there, I'm just going to wait for a break of some of our support. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. So we're going to continue to monitor this. We're going to continue to keep an eye on things. We're going to keep watching our moving averages. We were also taking a look at this in the 30 minutes. So let's look at our moving averages on a 30-minute, right? We were finding, we tried to break down on the 55 and we bounced up, right? We tested it here, we bounced up, tested it here, bounced up. Is this going to finally be the one that breaks, right? You're going to see a break on the lower time frames before we see a break on the higher time frames. Hourly is what I'm paying attention to, but I'll keep an eye on the 30 to see what happens there, because again, that's going to be some of our earlier indications that something is going to happen. All right, so that's all I've got for you right now. I think that that pretty much sums it up. But if this video does help you in any way, shape, or form, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And of course, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, a good night,